Hello, my name is Wenah. I am an Obama appointee in the Office of General Counsel at the Department of Commerce. I started at Thurgood in the fall of 2008, and I was a first-year law student. And I remember one day I was leaving class, and law school can be quite burdensome in terms of the amount of work you're given. The whole sense of competition and, people competing against one another. And it's like you just really want a sense of community. So I was leaving one day and I was going to the parking garage with my, rolling my books in my bag. And I glanced to my left and I saw a quote on the Barbara Jordan Mickey Leland School wall. And it was talking about how nothing is greater than a selfless, when you turn your personal motivation into a selfless motivation and dedication for the community and for the nation. And I was drawn to that, and I turned around with my books in my bag, and I went in and I said, I need to learn more about this school. I went up to the 4th floor, met Carol Robinson, who's a professor in the master's program at the Barbara Jordan Mickey Leland School. And it was at that moment that I knew I wanted to get a dual degree. I got my JD in government law and then my master's in public administration and international development. Now, in the master's school, you can do a couple of concentrations. They have a human resources concentration. I think they have an urban planning. Mine was international development because I wanted to, it's one thing to get your law degree and to know the rules and to know how things apply, in terms of getting things solved or fixed or advocating for someone. But it's another thing to know the needs of the people in the nation. And I felt like that's what the MPA was for me. It was an opportunity to assess the needs of the people and then marry the law with it so we could help the people with those roles. Professor Solomon Osho, he was my stats professor. And let me tell you why he was so awesome. First of all, he was like, don't get the book. I have everything right here. I'm gonna teach you everything you need to know. And we didn't get the $200 book, but he said the only book I want you to get is From Good to Great. Go on Amazon, find that book and get it, because I don't want you guys to be good, average, ordinary people. I want you to be great. And this is a book that I want you to read to invest in yourself. And he became like a mentor to me. It was towards the end of my time there that in his class that he said, you know what, I think you'd be really good for this internship at the White House. And I said, oh, the White House has internships? And he was like, yeah, you should apply. So I applied. He was one of my letters of recommendation. And then I ended up getting an internship in First Lady Michelle Obama's policy shop, working on her Let's Move initiatives to combat childhood obesity and to promote healthy eating, and also to work on her mentoring initiative and her Joining Forces initiative, which assesses the needs of military families across the country and figures out ways to kind of remedy those needs. So if it wasn't for the MPA program, I don't know that I would have ever come to Washington, D.C. to work, for one of the most amazing women I've ever met in my life, who's a absolutely phenomenal leader. But if it wasn't for him telling me about it, exposing, right? I think people think that experience is the best teacher, but it's really exposure. If you don't expose people to potential opportunities, seeing things greater than their circumstance, then how can they even think big or look at what's possible? So I thank him for exposing me to that opportunity. In terms of my experience at Texas Southern, I had a great experience in the master's schools and in the law school. The only thing I want to leave people with is, the road is rough. For me personally, in 2012, I had my greatest triumph in life, which was working for the First Lady of the United States, Mrs. Michelle Robinson Obama. But I also had my greatest tragedy. I lost my dad on my first day working a job for her out of the state. So for me, I had a year where I had a high peak and a very low valley. So I think the one thing that I would try to leave with people or share with people is to, one, keep the faith, even when things seem bleak and dark and opaque and you can't see in front of you and you don't know what's next. I don't share this with a lot of people, but I had some really hard times after my father passed away, both financially, emotionally, just kind of coping with loss. And it was a space where I didn't let a lot of people in, but it was through that darkness that I said to myself, I was like, God is going to get the glory in all of this. Like, I will come out of this and God's gonna get the glory. And he did. And blessings just started coming out of nowhere. But the blessings didn't come until I totally surrendered. You know, we think we're kind of in control, but the moment I really, really surrendered, that's when everything started happening. So I guess my word of advice to folks is, you know, I understand the job climate. I understand where we are. You know, these are hard economic times for students coming out of school, but keep the faith, surrender, and do the best that you can in the space that you're in. I want to thank my family for sure. I've had so many wonderful teachers at the MPA school. I mean, there's so many to mention. I mean, Dr. Adams has been a phenomenal leader of the program, and he's the face of the program, and it's a positive brand, and he really emanates that. Professor Carol Robinson, the first office I rolled into with my bags. Dr. Mwamba, Dr. Woods, that's the man. Dr. Barrington, Dr. Christoph. There have been an amazing amount of people at the law school. I know I'm forgetting folks, and they're probably going to be really mad, but I love them all the same. And I mean, just a sincere thanks to you guys, the future, the people who are going to join the MPA program, the MPA school, and continue and perpetuate the legacy in a positive manner. I look forward to meeting you, and if there's anything I can do to help you, I'm more than willing and happy to do so. Thank you.